It's Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Thought I'd take a minute here. I'm Mark, the meat cutter today. I'm working in the butcher shop with my crew, and we are working on stuff, cutting up a beef, getting it cleared off the tables and into the store. I'm in the store right now, just taking a coffee break. But yesterday I made a video and I was talking about, I titled it, Somebody's Gotta Say It. And I kind of got into the problems with glyphosate in our environment and how it's affecting human beings. And, I think I would go further than just say, somebody's got to say it. I think I would go further to make a video, right? All right. I hate to say this, but it seems like any place that's decent to make a video, there's no connection. It's a conspiracy, I tell you. But anyway, I was talking about glyphosate, and let me tell you what I'm not advocating for. I'm not advocating for, the government to come down and knock out the people that make glyphosate, or the people locally that apply it as their business to be. I'm not. That's above my pay grade. That's not what I do. I'm talking to you about how do you avoid it, because that's what you can do at this level, is just avoid it. Like when you go to the airport and they say, would you like to be x-rayed? You can opt out. So I'm talking about opting out. The people in Washington, they're the ones that are going to have to ask for names, take names, on this whole thing. And until that gets done, it's going to be something that you have to avoid. You have to avoid it. So it's on you. One of our friends, Rachel Jameson, said the buck stops with you. So when we talk about these things, they're just ways that we've figured out how to do this, how to avoid it, and how to get the most nutrient into your body as possible, so this regenerative body that we're in can regenerate, right? And there's a lot to know about that. The reason why glyphosate, we avoid it as much as we can, is because it's a herbicide, and when we take that into our digester, our digestive system, it kills off the plant life in us, our gut flora. It knocks it off, or it diminishes it, or retards it. So we want to avoid it whenever we can. So then you have to become kind of a super sleuth. Okay, how am I going to do this? And let's share some techniques. So what my job is today, my first job when I got into the butcher shop, is there's a pile of bones. And these are bones from a massive animal. This animal had to be close to 2,000 pounds, just a monster. And just the fact that he can just stand there, gallop around and do what he's got to do out in the cold and heat and everything, just a monster of an animal, extremely strong. So here's a specimen of a bone. This comes off the front leg. And, we've taken all of the meat and fat off of it that we wanted to get off. And we're left with this. Now look at the size of that. If I drove over this with a car, the car would jump over it. It would not break. It is that strong. So, production. Yeah, here we go again. Okay, so let me see if, otherwise I'm going to shut it off this time and I'm going to go someplace else. I picked this place because it's warm and quiet, but it disconnected on me twice. So this is a compilation of components, all stuck together, all weaved together. We won't get into that, but you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of different components to this. And so if I want to make this part of my system, if I want to take out of this what I can, digest what I can out of it, how am I going to do that? How am I going to do that? So what I'm tasked with doing today is cutting all these bones up. So here's a cross section of one of those bones. And you can see That's marrow. That's good stuff right there. Now, it's good stuff if it's a grass-fed animal. Grass-fed and finished. But if it's laden with toxic chemicals, then they're going to be concentrated right there. And you may think that you're doing yourself a favor by rendering this down or simmering it down and making a really rich bone broth out of it. But you're actually going to concentrate those chemicals, and then you're going to take them right down. Bad, right? So you think you're doing a good thing, but you're actually doing the opposite. So they have to be grass-fed, and they have to, the parts per million of toxic chemicals in this has to be really low, right? As low as you can get it. And that's what this is all about. Some guy smarter than anybody in the room piped in yesterday and said, well, there's glyphosate everywhere. Well, with an attitude like that, why don't you just take a glass of it and drink it and get it over with? Just do it, right? No, we're mitigating risk here is what we're doing. And the goal is to have a healthy body to live in, for our spirit to live in. That's the goal. For as long as possible, quality as possible, have as much fun as you can, and be as productive as possible. That's the goal. And so this is a way that you can do this. So these, we cut them all up. All the bones get cut up. And then they go in a pot with water, clean water, and then they're simmered for 36 hours. And when that's done, the marrow here will just poop right out. And everything that's left in there, except the bone itself, stays in there and is whisked, so it's all the little pieces of meat and stuff are really small, and it's reduced quite a bit. So we may add water back to it to make it the consistency that we want to drink. And then you take 12 ounces of that in the morning, and you're getting some good stuff, and you're rebuilding your gut flora. So the building blocks of that bone are components that make a very strong piece of equipment here. You want those building blocks to build your body. Wouldn't it be nice if you could lay down in the driveway and they could drive the Oldsmobile over and you jump up and say, let's do that again. That felt good. Who wouldn't love to be like that superhuman? And I'm not saying that you can be that, but let's work in that direction. That's the idea. Let's work in that direction. Otherwise, we're going the other direction. And like my niece said the other day, she's tending to 50-year-olds that can't even wipe themselves. You don't want to be that guy. You don't. You want to go the other direction. So that video I made yesterday got a lot of views. I haven't had something like that happen in a long time. 8,000 views in 24 hours. So I must have struck a nerve someplace, or the blue-haired person at Facebook that is assigned to keeping me down was off, maybe. I don't know. But either way, I figure we'll continue to share these techniques with you. And there was a fine lass that accused me of, fear-mongering in order to sell our meat. No. Our meat sells anyway. But we're always looking to expand the operation. So, if I don't tell you, if I say that there's a problem and I don't have any kind of solution for you, I think I'm kind of remiss in my duties here. So that's why I said that we have this stuff if you want it. But I realize people need to be within a reasonable distance. However, I get it all the time. Wish I lived closer. What? If you lived 3 towns over, that's too far for your health? Or if you live at the state line, that's too far for your health? I don't know if I buy that, because your health is the most important thing. The most important thing. So anything that you can do to mitigate the risks of being a sick, weak person, you need to do it. Bone broth is one of those. Okay. Have a good day.